Secondly, Wordsworth says, the language too of these men is adopted, purified, indeed, from what appears to be its real defects, from all lasting and rational causes of dislike or disgust. Because such men hourly communicate with the best objects from which the best part of language is originally derived, and because from their rank in society and the sameness and narrow circle of their intercourse, being less under the action of social vanity, they convey their feelings and notions in simple and unelaborated expressions. In this regard, Coleridge objects to the view that the best part of language is derived from the objects with which the rustics hourly communicates. He says first communication with an object implies reflection on it, and the richness of vocabulary arises from such reflection. Now, the rural conditions of life do not require any reflection, hence, the vocabulary of the rustics is poor. They can express only the barest facts of nature and not the ideas and thoughts, universal laws which result from reflection on such facts. Secondly, the best part of a man's language does not result merely from communication with nature, but from education, from the mind's dwelling on noble thoughts and ideals of the masterminds of humanity. Whatever noble and poetic phrases, words, and arrangement of words the rustics use are derived not from nature but from repeated listening to the Bible and to the sermons of noble and inspired preachers.